Just saw Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness. Got myself a cup, and I have a Wanda little figurine in the back, and I thought it was cool. It was fine. I mean, I think my biggest takeaway of a negative is that there isn't really much of a story, and if I don't really care about what's happening, then just events happening. Like, America Chavez is fine. She's okay. It just feels like a Disney Channel doughy-eyed girl who just goes, and it's like, okay, and like, they don't even resolve the thing with her parents. Everything is just kind of pushed back, and it's like, what's really the point of this movie? Like, is Wanda dead? Like, it feels like it was kind of inconsequential. It was just a bunch of cool, visionary images happening. It was like a VFX reel, and Sam Raimi's take on this is interesting, to say the least. I feel like there's more Drag Me to Hell than Evil Dead, but you had Bruce Campbell, and I just knew that second mid-credit scene would be Bruce Campbell. Like, oh god, no! Okay, I'm trying to, like, actually remember, because, like, once Gigantus Octopus monster creature feature happens, it happened. God, sorry, I'm not like at a loss for words. I'm just kind of like tired because it's midnight. But once that happens, it all becomes like a blur to me, where I'm like, what? Like, I understand what's happening, why it's happening. Like, it's not like everything happened so fast in Rise of Skywalker. I'm like, why is this happening? It's not like that. I get why it's happening. I understand the plot of what little there is. I just didn't really care for it. Like, Avengers Endgame, that was one of the first ones that came out of really puzzled about how I felt. Because even Age of Ultron, I just had a big dopey smile on my face. It was like a Saturday morning cartoon of a guilty pleasure of film. That was inconsequential, but it was like, okay, cool. This one was like supposed to be important, but it ended up just being kind of like a filler film. But Endgame was the important one, the epic one, right? It was supposed to be like the Logan of the MCU. We'll get to Logan. But Endgame ended up being just really questionable. Oh, like a rat saves Scott, and Hulk dabs, and Fat Thor plays Fortnite. I was like, what is happening? Here, I'm like, at least I'm like entertained. Not by all of it, but I was into it. It was like 2 hours, it was fine. I'm just kind of gonna forget about it. And it's interesting because last year, we didn't get anything in 2020. So in 2021, I was really impressed by Marvel. I love the shows. WandaVision, I thought this was going to kind of continue it, because I loved WandaVision. I loved What If. I loved Black Widow. Loki, like, but, like, this reminds me of Loki, where I'm just kind of like, that's it? Moon Knight. I just finished Moon Knight recently too, and that was the worst one. We'll see about Miss Marvel. Like, I can't. I'm trying to remember actually what really like important story beats happen, and it's like the theme is, are you happy? The thing I liked most about the character of Dr. Stephen Strange was that he was like Tony Stark. Everyone compared him to Tony Stark, but he's like the opposite, actually. In reality, he doesn't get the girl. He ends up alone. And I feel like what they were trying to do at the end of the first one, where it's like, you bargain with time. But it makes sense because he has a time stone. Here, there's like a music battle. There was action. But it was just kind of mindless action. Like the Illuminati scene was cool, but I actually preferred the fight between Stephen Strange and Mordor, I believe, Chiwetel Ejiofor. Like when they fell in that little hole, like I thought that was the best moment in that sequence, because Wanda just viciously murders everyone, and all the cameos were just X-Forced off. You know, I guess it's the best Fantastic Four thing we got. And even though the mind battle, I guess, was better in Apocalypse, like here it was interesting because we got like a Wanda in a cave, and like Professor X is like, I need to get you out, and then just like the real Wanda comes and snaps his neck, and it's like, okay. Like Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and you got Captain Carter. Like, it was interesting, but then I just kind of forgot about it because other stuff was happening. That's how I felt about Deadpool 2. Like, once the woman died, I'm forgetting her name, I'm just kind of tired at the moment. Once his love interest died, it was like, okay. That's when I started kind of to not like the film. And then other stuff just started happening, but it didn't even matter because he went back at the end. Oh, he went back at the end and saved her anyways, so. Oh, God. So it didn't even matter. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like going back to the Gigantus, it was bad effects, but the wedding I thought was fine. He jumps off the balcony, okay, cool. Gigantus happens, and then you just kind of like go on with America Chavez. And then they just kind of go through the portals, and it's like, oh, there's like a noir one, there's like paint. We barely got into any of those, actually. Like, the first one we were into, it's like, oh, red means go, and there's a bunch of shrubbery. Like, how does that even, like, come into fruition, that, like, red is the opposite of green? Like, I don't understand, really. Wanda, I don't mind that she's a villain, because she had the Darkhold book. But, like, it was like no Vision, no mention of Agatha. It was just really weak. But, like, cool stuff was happening where it kind of distracts you from the plot, or a lack thereof. I guess I liked Christine better in this one than in the first one. But it wasn't the real Christine. It was the other one who couldn't even get America Chavez out of the cage she built. I don't know. I give this like a 7 out of 10. B minus? The 3D was cool. I had no idea who Charlize Theron played. What else happened? Like, I thought Doctor Strange's coolest moment was in Infinity War when he multiplied and he collapsed Thanos' gauntlet. But even then, they're trying to make it out like he made the wrong decision, which I hate when they kind of go back and they're like, did you really have to, like, do that and have everyone dusted? And it's like, yeah. Like, what did I see recently where they did that? They said, I'm forgetting. There was, like, a moment where it's like, oh, did he make the right decision and the right call? Yeah, I'm forgetting. But No Way Home, I thought, was a good plot, and the wow factor was more impressive, because I kind of figured that all the Spider-Mans would be in there because all the villains were in here. It just kind of made sense to me, but it earned its moments better, I thought. Like, when they were swinging together, and they all dropped out one by one on the roof, like, it was interesting and fun. Well, this film was just fun, mostly, but it didn't earn its dramatic moments. Like when Toby and Andrew were telling Tom Holland about, with great power comes great responsibility, what that means to them, and they're mourning their loss because Peter, this Peter, lost Aunt May because of his own consequences. Like, there's, like, dire consequences, and there was cause and effect. Here, it was just kind of like, bleh, like, what we can think of will happen. It was basically the Murphy's Law, where it's like, what can't happen will happen, and it does happen, so just accept it or not. And I try to. Once you're on a roller coaster, like, you don't want to be on a 2-hour roller coaster. You want some dramatic moments where the elevation of the bump earns the moment where you go down and you feel that rush of excitement. Here it was like, and it's like, Jesus, okay. I think that's it. While I take a sip of my cup. Yeah. It was just kind of like, fine. Yeah, I can't think of anything else, alright? Thanks for watching.